Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today the topic is coping with the agonizing weight. Something we've all dealt with, and we'll deal with more of them as we just keep moving through life. What do you do with that agonizing weight when dealing with the hard stuff? Dealing with challenging situations is tough enough, but the waiting period is often the hardest part. Most of us despise waiting and struggle to handle it well, especially when it's the hard stuff. But great wisdom is found in waiting if we are patient during that journey. So instead of thinking about the destination, let's figure out how to get through the journey and what do we learn from it. Here's a quote by Joyce Meyer. Patience is not simply the ability to wait, it's how we behave while we're waiting. We'll inevitably have challenging times, and the commonality of feeling the agony of waiting for resolution. Effectively managing the wait can help improve our mental well-being and overall resilience. We spend time waiting, when we're traveling and we have delays, or at the green light when we're sitting at an intersection, or we're waiting for tomorrow to come. Maybe we're waiting for a vacation to start, an upcoming scan, an approaching surgery or treatment, test results, a diagnosis yet to be determined. Maybe we're looking for a job, so we're waiting on finding employment, or babies to be born, children to come home, children to grow up, graduations to occur, school to start, or maybe we have relationships we're working to get restored, or we're just waiting for someone to show up or to call. Maybe you're waiting on an important phone call, or maybe you're waiting for miracles to happen. Whatever it is, it's waiting, and it can be agonizing. What would you add to the list? The agony of waiting, you know what feeling that is, right? When you're stuck in limbo, waiting for something to happen. It feels like the whole world is moving on without you as you wait. As the minutes tick by, turning into hours and then into days, you feel smaller and smaller, like is it ever going to get here? Kind of like shrinking and becoming less significant with each passing moment. I know, I remember feeling like if I just sit here and curl up in a ball and fall asleep, the time will go faster. So with each passing day, I felt a little piece of myself just chipping away. I've always been an impatient person while waiting. When you're a kid and you're waiting for Christmas morning, or maybe I recall those anxious feelings just waiting to save enough money so I could buy my favorite pair of jeans. But then as an adult, waiting for anything medical seems particularly excruciating. It's scary. That unknown is so scary. Any wait during tough times can be agonizing. when waiting for the shoe to drop, as they say. That's when we anticipate an inevitable event with negative consequences. Your mind tells you the worst case scenario. In moments like these, I often turn to the words of people who've come before me. Some people have a knack for putting our messy human experiences into words. There is a quote from an ancient Roman philosopher. So he studied the human existence many, many years ago. So what we're feeling isn't anything new, but maybe it's more complex. And you're right. The quote is, well, we suffer more often in our imagination than in reality. What is he talking about there? You might think, well, that doesn't make any sense. My suffering definitely feels real. And you're right, it does feel real, painfully, crushingly real. But the point is that a lot of our suffering comes from the stories we tell ourselves while we're waiting. We imagine a worst case scenario. We replay our perceived failures over and over and convince ourselves that our worth is tied to this one thing that we're waiting for. In doing so, we often make our suffering far worse than it needs to be. When the unexpected happens, life occurs and then the wait becomes intense. It's that feeling of not knowing. Living is hard and difficult, and the struggle is indeed real. So how do we manage it? The psychological impacts from waiting affect our mental health, creating stress and anxiety and even depression. So finding ways to manage it can bring peace and harmony to our lives. The essential point is distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot control. We can't control if we get the job or what the test results will reveal or if someone will text us back. However, we can control our response during the wait. We can decide where to focus and direct our energy. Do we have to just sit around in that open spot, that period of wait? Or can we do some things to stop the pain, to manage the pain? This might involve immersing ourselves in our favorite hobby or a project just to stay busy, reaching out to friends for support and distraction, or practicing mindfulness or meditation to remain grounded and in the present moment rather than consumed by anxious thoughts about the future. Stay grounded in reality by finding ways to accept the uncertainty and parts beyond your control. One of my favorite knacks is journaling. And the reason I recommend journaling is because this can help you express your thoughts and your feelings, your anxieties. You can write your reflections about those feelings, writing down your thoughts. And feelings can be very therapeutic. It helps you process emotions and track progress. Practice looking at the situations from a different perspective. So writing them down can kind of help you do that. That way you can find the silver lining, find the best case scenario rather than the worst. Write down your worries versus what actually is within your control and focus on those things. If you'd like some journaling prompts to help during these times, I'm happy to help. So I can provide those. Another quote that I hang on to is that everything can be taken away, everything. But there's one thing, the last of the human freedoms is to choose our attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. We may face unimaginable pain and suffering and powerlessness, yet we can maintain our sense of self worth and find peace. How do we do it? We do it by recognizing that even in the darkest situations, we retain the power to choose our attitude and our response. It doesn't mean we have to pretend everything is fine when it isn't. It it's not about toxic positivity or denying our emotions. It's about understanding that while we may not control our circumstances, we can control our response. We can treat ourselves with kindness and compassion instead of self criticism. We can choose to find small moments of joy or purpose, even amid uncertainty and waiting. Of course, I don't have all the answers, but I do have ideas and things that can help, things that helped me. It's not always easy. Some days it might feel nearly impossible, but it's a practice we can work on gradually, day by day, appointment by appointment, circumstance by circumstance. If you're practicing it, then the next time that that terrible thing happens or that period of wait happens, you're better able to manage it. So if you find yourself in a period of waiting, feeling small or powerless to make a difference or to help yourself, remember this: you are not alone. You're never alone. Your worth is not defined by what you're waiting for or how long you've had to wait. You are inherently valuable simply because you exist and are doing your best with what you have. The wait will eventually end and you'll get to the situation you needed to deal with. They always do. But in the meantime, be kind to yourself. Find a way, find a distraction while you wait. Find something positive to do while you wait. Even if it's calling a friend and just talking it through, someone who can help relieve your anxiety a bit. You're doing better than you realize. You really are. I hope you found some of this information helpful today. Reach out if I can answer any questions or if you want some journaling prompts to help you assess the weight and what's on your mind. It really does help. As always, I'm cheering you on. Have a great Monday.